Welcome back to the Blue and Gold Report. I'm your host, Mark Roberts. My co-host, Fumi Kimura, joins me in a few moments after first our visit with Andrew Morales, bidding for an All-American season in his first year with the Anteaters. The junior right-hander last year was a junior college All-American at Rio Hondo Community College. The Anteaters ever so fortunate. That's a story we'll tell later in our interview with Andrew of how we got him here. All he's done is go 9-0. The ERA brilliant, 1.60. Anteaters have not lost on a Sunday because Andrew Morales starts on Sundays, even though he got a no decision yesterday in one of the more exciting games of the season. The Anteaters come from behind, ninth inning win, 4-3 over UC Davis. Andrew, great to see you. Look, I imagine coming in, you knew you could be a big part of this team, but so far, I mean, it's like shake me, wake me. Is a dream come true?
Definitely. You know, I'm really glad to be here. I have the opportunity to play baseball at this high-level competition.
Well, they're certainly glad to have you. How do you like your role pitching on Sundays? You watch Andrew Thurman, a bona fide ace on Friday, the crafty Matt Whitehouse on Saturday, and I'm sure you're there studying the hitters, many of them who you'll face on Sunday, the final game of the series. But do you like the fit in the rotation where you pitch on Sunday, or would you prefer if they moved you around a bit?
You know, wherever I can help my team the best. That's kind of where, I mean, they slotted me on Sundays, and that's where I've done well, so I don't mind at all. And I do study the game, especially charting the first 2 days, so it helps a lot. Get to know the hitters and know where they hit the ball, know where to pitch them. It's a learning experience and continuing to be a student of the game.
Well, that's great because your talent is remarkable, and if you continue to study the way you are, success, as it has been already, is inevitable. Have you become friends now with that staff? The pitchers, I know, help each other. There is a friendly, competitive drive between you guys. Has it been fun getting acquainted and making new friends on this year's team, especially with the pitchers, of which, you know, you're kind of a tribe?
Definitely. You know, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but Matt and Andrew are both my roommates at home.
I did not know
so
that.
We're in the same house, but you know, like, they're all great guys. It's great to be part of this family atmosphere, and especially the pitchers. We're really tight knit.
You know, it's kind of, I think, an advantage for the Anteaters too to have a brilliant young mind in Daniel Bavona, a pitching coach, a year and a half removed from pro baseball, a former All-American. He knows what you guys are going through. He was doing it just 4 or 5 years ago at Irvine. How has he been able to help you, and a little something about your relationship with a new pitching coach?
He's really even keel. He knows the game. He knows, especially since he's been that role. You know, he was Mr. All Everything when he was here. Big West Pitcher of the Year twice, I believe.
Yes.
He's a role model to all of us, especially myself. You know, he kind of calms me down. You know, makes sure I know the game. Just trusts my abilities to pitch, and you know, he's done a great job this year so far.
He certainly has, and the team ERA reflects that, and just the balance of the staff. 9-0, you went for win number 10 yesterday through a fine game, actually by your standards a mediocre game, and that's giving up 3 runs. He's only done that twice all year. That's how good Andrew Morales is, and when you give up 3 runs as a starting pitcher, generally you win. But the Anteaters did it in dramatic fashion yesterday. Watching that 9th inning from the bench, 2 out, nobody on, you're down 3-2. Describe your emotions as batter by batter. The Anteaters gutted it out till finally Spencer wins it.
It was a fight. It was definitely a fight. You know, it was fun to watch. Very, very nail biting. We're all on the edge of the railing there, where everyone's rooting for the same team. And when I believe who lit off the inning?
Well, it was 2 out, nobody down. Cooper came off the bench.
Cooper came up. That's right. Then he hit that and beat it out to short, and then Dom came up and hit that one up the middle, beats that one out.
Oh, yeah.
And then Rubago's hustle play at second.
That might have been the play of the year.
Oh, that was
what a jump, Andrew.
That was probably one of the best hustle plays I've seen.
Yeah.
In baseball. I mean, he ran that out, beat the guy to short, and he beat him to second. That ended up being the biggest play of the game.
It was. It set up Spencer, and he just had a feeling Connor, the hitter that he is, was going to win it, and he got one on a 1-2 pitch, drove it up the gap for the win. So the Anteaters are now 10-5, by the way. They're 28-12, playing .700 baseball with 15 games remaining. And right after our show here today, I want you to stay tuned to KUCI and listen to the UC Irvine UCLA game live from Jackie Robinson Stadium. Andrew, talk about your pitches. You're a 4-pitch guy with a devastating curve, but just a little bit about each of your pitches.
I don't throw a 4-seam fastball. I throw mainly 2 seams.
And what's the difference for our audience between the 2 and 4-seam?
2-seam, your index and your middle finger on the middle of the seams. The 4-seam, you're touching 4 seams, and it's more of a straighter fastball. A 2-seam has a little bit more movement, naturally to the arm side. So my ball moves a little bit. It has a little natural tail because of my arm slot. So it's definitely an advantage to have a little movement and the angle down on the fastball. I have a changeup. I use it as some people call it a 3-finger or a ring finger changeup. And I throw a slider and a curveball.
Yeah, and the curveball is just a devastating curveball. You don't see as many pitchers today of your generation with that classic curve, with that, I call it for you a sweeping break. Some fall off a table, but a big break to it. When did you discover that pitch? Was that something that came naturally? Somebody teach you that?
It came naturally, messing with the grips on the ball, and my senior year in high school is when I basically kind of perfected that pitch there. It's still a work in progress, as is everything. So it's that's when I first mastered that one in my senior year in high school.
I think your record at Rio Hondo Community College, which has a fine baseball program, was something like 20 wins, 2 losses, or something like that over 2 years, maybe even a little better than that. And then you obviously had a great high school career. Who have been the influences before you got to UC Irvine that helped you develop yourself to being such a fine pitcher?
My dad has a big influence on what I do, and the coaching staff at Rio Hondo was pretty good, especially the pitching coach. He knew the game. He taught me a lot, especially coming out of high school. I was still young, wasn't very mature, and just got better as learning the game.
Now, did your dad play pro ball, or
he did not?
But he played baseball, obviously, at one point or another.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, wonderful guy, and just so proud of you, as is your entire family. What do you think of the baseball team overall? It's a pretty balanced team. There's not any glaring weaknesses. There's a few things we need to shore up, but this team has a lot of potential. Obviously, 28-12, they're good, but I think a great chance to make a good, deep run in June.
This is probably the best team I've got to be a part of, all around at least. I've been on some good hitting teams, and this team has probably one of the best pitching staffs in the nation.
Yes.
And hitting-wise, we're a threat, I think, 1 through 9, and our defense is solid all year, as the numbers show. I'm pretty sure we made less than 10 errors the entire year, so it's a joy to be on this team. It's really fun to play, and the atmosphere we hold and carry on through the year probably will make us a great postseason run.
It does give you extra confidence, I would think, knowing that they're going to catch the ball behind you. You don't have to be up there trying to strike at everybody or have them pop it in the air where it's a routine play, because they can catch the baseball. What about the Big West Conference? It's a pretty darn good conference. Even though you sweep Davis, you had to go to the bottom of the 9th twice to do that. And, hey, so-called, at least, in the conference pecking order, you've got the big boys coming up: Santa Barbara, Long Beach State, Fullerton, Cal Poly. Are you impressed with the conference and the caliber of competition?
Definitely. It's a tough conference, and we're proving it this year. I know last year and years before, they only took 1 team to the playoffs, other than the 2 years before when the UCI actually got into it.
Right. Well, some years they've had 2 teams, and 1 year they had 3, but they've also only taken 1 too.
Yeah, and definitely the level of competition, anyone can beat anybody, and the standings are showing that. Even the powerhouses, Fullerton, ourselves, and Cal Poly have gone down to some teams that hypothetically shouldn't have lost to. So it's Level of competition is very high, and it's cutthroat baseball at its finest there.
Oh, it is. It is. 12 games remaining, by the way, for the Anteaters in conference play. 4 weeks remaining in the regular season. They're on the road this week. As I said, the UCLA game will be aired live on KUCI following our Blue and Gold report this week. And then over the weekend, they're at Santa Barbara for 3 games before returning home against highly regarded and nationally ranked Cal Poly Mustangs. Andrew, as you look at your future, what will be after the season at UC Irvine, whether they draft you high, whether they draft you in the middle, whether they draft you low. But I'm sure this is something you've given a lot of thought to, about the balance of weighing the attributes of staying in college and turning to the pro game. You might have that decision to make. Do you think about that a little bit, or are you just so caught up on what's going on right now with the team?
I don't think about it at all, to be completely honest. I've had a couple conversations with our coaching staff, and they've told me a couple scenarios that might happen, and I don't put much thought into it. If it happens, then it's a blessing, and if not, then I continue my career here, and either way, it's a win-win situation for myself.
Hey, we take here for 25 years if we could do it. You just had a wonderful year, and whether you come back next year or not, or you turn pro, you'll be a success at either. Before we go to break, quick thought about a unique man, a brilliant coach with a lot of wisdom, Mike Gillespie. He's a joy to be around.
Definitely. Great guy. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason. I really enjoy playing under him, and he's also taught me a lot, and he's just a really, really great coach.
Do you ever get yourself in a situation where you can have a few moments one-on-one with him and just share some things, ask him a question or two, or he's pulled you aside and offered a bit of advice?
Yeah, we've had a couple one-on-one conversations, and even then, he's a joy to be around. He's really funny.
Yeah, he is.
He's a really great personality, so it's...
Yeah, we're blessed.
Definitely.
Yeah. Not only is he efficient and good and a winner, he is entertaining. We're going to take a quick break. We've got much more with Andrew Morales on the other side. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Blue and Gold Report on 88.9 FM KUCI, on the web at kuci.org.